Hello, this is Kaylee, and you're listening to the Warrior Painters podcast. This is the 6th episode. This episode features my conversation with Linden Li. Linden lives in Toronto and is definitely one of the nicest people I've met through Warrior Painters. Linden has volunteered himself to help us manage Discord since the very beginning, which was when quarantine first started. He has been doing plein air painting for a few years now, and you'll be hearing how he trains himself to improve both on art and on his social skills through plein air. Hello, Linden.
Hey,
How are
hey,
you
Kaylee.
today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Today, we want to have you talk about your plein air experience. Do you want to introduce yourself briefly to us?
Yeah, sure. My name's Linden. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm currently a student developing my portfolio towards background design, and I've been an official member of Warrior Painters since September 2019.
That was very official. I love it. How did you first learn traditional painting?
I've actually been playing around like traditional medium for like since I was really little because my paternal grandfather was a Chinese landscape painter, so there's always been like inks and pigment just lying around the house, and I would just like feel them and just like play around with it.
Wow, so you got influenced from him since you were really little. Did he teach you anything?
Uh, his eyesight was like going pretty bad by like the time I started painting, so no, he couldn't teach me much. But I always hear stories from like my parents about like his journey as an artist. He would go travel to places and like he'll just bring his like brushes and paints, go on adventures, and like he would just sell the paintings that he would make that day, and like he'll feed himself that way. So yeah,
So he was a professional painter then.
yeah,
He made his whole life from painting.
yeah, pretty much.
Wow, that's pretty rare. I've never met any real painters or artists even in China. So, what about your parents? Are they pretty encouraging you?
Yeah, definitely. I think I feel like a spoiled kid because like since graduation, I've been just doing whatever I want, and they haven't really pushed me to like get a real job because they know that like art it's a sustainable way to make a living if you're dedicated enough. My grandfather being successful is like a big part of it, and yeah, they've been super supportive of me, helping me out with like tuition and everything for all the classes I've been doing, and yeah, I'm really grateful.
How did you decide to kind of become an artist then?
Um, I remember Powerpuff Girls was my favorite show when I was growing up. I would watch that show and I would do drawings from it. And one day I did a drawing of the professor from Powerpuff Girls. And I showed my mom. She was so happy. She was really proud. She pinned it on the fridge. Showed all her friends, and like yeah, I was really happy. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, this is my destiny. I
How old were you?
think I was like 4. Yeah.
Wow. And did you learn about plein air painting? I mean, you talked about how your grandfather was painting on location everywhere. When did you learn about this word, this phrase?
The word plein air, I actually learned like much later in high school when I was reading a book called The Masterpiece by Emile Zola. He was like friends of like the Impressionists. From what I remember, he was like writing fan fiction about like all the Impressionists. The main character was like Claude Monet, except he changed the name. In the book, it mentioned like plein air painting, and it was like this new concept that like when they brought these paintings to galleries, they would like actually get made fun of because it's like what is this? This is so rough. Like I do this is a study. So yeah. I actually didn't really get into plein air painting till much later, like in my last year of college when I started watching James Gurney videos. And even though like he lives in a suburban area, it's not that exciting. Like he would find really mundane looking subject matter and like make it look really good. Yeah, James Gurney just makes it look really fun. That's how I got into it.
Do you remember what was the first plein air painting you did?
I think it was after I watched a bunch of James Gurney videos, I bought a Moleskine sketchbook, and it was so expensive. It cost me an arm. My firstborn child. Went to the docks in Toronto and I painted like some boats.
How was it?
Yeah, it was great. Like if I find that sketchbook and I open like the first page of it, I still remember like the temperature that day, like the smells, the sounds, like who was next to me that day. And it was yeah, great for like memories.
Did you start painting consistently then?
I don't think it was that consistent. It was like maybe once or twice a week. Around that time, it was also when Pokemon Go was a big thing. I was really into it too. So I would go on these Pokemon adventures, and I would also have like my sketchbook. And when I see a cool spot, I would just stop to paint. And that was great because I found a lot of really cool new locations in my city that I never bothered to explore because I just didn't have a reason to.
I kind of stalked you on your Instagram the other day, and I realized you joined PleinAir Pro in 2019, right?
Yeah, back then I didn't even know about warrior painters. I was on a trip by myself in Xiamen, China, and I was doing plein air just by myself. And I started seeing like, oh, there's this thing called Plein Air Pro. So I just started using the hashtag. I didn't even know there was a contest. Like, yeah, and I think on like 10th day or something, Angela liked my photo and followed me on Instagram. I'm like, oh, I can die happy now.
That's so cute.
I knew of her work before Plein Air Pro or like warrior painters. I remember seeing like these like really colorful buildings and like cars, like gouache paintings, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. You can do that with gouache. Yeah, Angela's like is my gouache hero.
Did you go to art school?
Yeah, I studied in Ontario College of Art and Design here in Toronto. It was okay. Like I learned how to mix paints. Yeah, yeah, that's about it. And afterwards, I just went outside to paint, and that I think that's what I learned the most from going outside to paint.
What was your major in school? Did you study fine art or?
Oh, I studied illustration. Yeah, the program was okay. It's just it's not exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know about concept art as a profession. I thought like illustration was like the closest thing to what I wanted to do. I think the school it was more geared towards like editorial illustration. So I guess like illustration for magazines, spot illustration, that type of stuff. And it's not exactly what I wanted to learn.
But you did take some traditional painting class.
Yeah, so all the figure painting classes, like I think that's where I learned the most. Learned about palettes, Zorn palette, double primary palette, how to mix paints, like a lot of the color harmony stuff.
And because you started going out to paint, did that help you kind of like shift your career goal somehow? Because you said you want to do background design, right?
Yeah, after I graduated, I actually went to the schoolism like workshop, like the 30-day workshop in Montreal. I learned a lot from scratch, like the fundamentals, digital painting. That's when I really learned about like how the all the different paths in the industry. That's when I decided like, oh, I want to do environments, and yeah, I just kept going in that direction.
How did you make this decision?
I think eventually I want to be good at everything. It's just environments is the most interesting to me right now.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because you enjoy the plein air painting and plein air is mostly environment. So you want to kind of like pursue that path so you can do more environments. That's what I was thinking.
Sounds about right.
But do you still have time to do plein air painting lately? Because if you are trying to get a job in the entertainment industry, then you have to do a lot of digital paintings, right?
I think there's always time. If there's a will, there's a way. I just gotta be more disciplined and just do it. After like the sketchbook show and tell event we had today on the Warrior Painter Discord, I saw Q's sketchbook, I saw Caroline's sketchbook. I'm like, oh man, I'm so lazy. I gotta go outside and paint.
And when was it the last time you did plein air?
I was studying at Brainstorm Burbank in Los Angeles. And when I was studying there, I was going out to paint a lot, and also joined you guys for like live sessions. I think the last painting I did outside was it was in Burbank. I think I painted with Q actually, one of the morning sessions.
All right. That was like a while back.
Yeah, I've been doing heavy paint. I feel like when I'm indoors, I'm not super excited to do traditional painting. I think I like being like slower in my process when I'm outside because that gives me more time to observe and experience atmosphere, the sounds, the smells, like everything. I think when I'm inside, I'm just staring at like a screen or a photo. It's like not that stimulating for me.
What else do you enjoy about plein air painting?
You meet a lot of cool people when you're painting outside. So I want to share this one story. I was painting in China under a place where I was staying. I set up my plein air across from this butcher stall. I was painting this lady who was cutting up meat. When I was done painting, she actually came over to take a look, and she was so happy that I painted her. She actually like said, "Hey kid, me and my coworkers were about to have lunch. Pull up a chair and eat with us." after that, I was just addicted to doing plein air. That made me feel so good. Like painting something that made someone else feel like excited enough to invite me to lunch. I want to be like James Gurney, just like paint people that I meet when I'm traveling and like make friends that way. I think painting is a language that's like transcends language barriers. And I think everyone has painted or drawn when they're little. So that's like a automatic like icebreaker when you meet a stranger.
So you're kind of enjoying when strangers come up to you and ask you what you're painting and try to strike a conversation?
That's definitely something I built up over time. When I first started, I was super shy, and when people came over to take a look, I would just like keep my head like way down. Now just keep my sketchbook close to my face and like not really show them what I'm doing. But I think I'm more confident now. I would like actually start conversations with people who come over, ask them if they like to paint too. Yeah, there's good days and bad days. Like sometimes if I'm doing a bad painting, that I don't want to talk to anybody.
And you mentioned you don't like to paint from the photo reference.
I think painting from a photo, I'm always like limited by the stuff I've already experienced. But if I'm painting outside, I can experience things like I've never had before. So for learning, I think painting outside is definitely better.
How do you like your plein-air paintings comparing to your digital painting so far?
I think when painting indoors and digitally, I can definitely make a cleaner image and just like stronger image overall. But when I'm painting outside, when I look back at that image, I can have all those like experiences and memories like flood back into my head. And I think that's more valuable to me than like making a pretty picture.
I've heard from at least Angela that if you have some plein-air painting in your portfolio, you could like kind of stand out from the candidates when you apply for jobs. Have you considered that?
Yeah, I definitely put plein air paintings like in my portfolio because I think like when I'm looking for a studio, I also want to find people who are down to like paint with me after work. So maybe if they see, yeah, maybe if they feel the same, that'll increase my chances of getting hired. Before the lockdown from Los Angeles, I filled up, I think it was like 60-page sketchbook, but it was pretty small.
I know we're in the quarantine right now, so do you miss going out to paint?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially after seeing everyone's plein air sketchbooks today on Discord.
Where would you go after you can go out?
Definitely want to travel to Asia, but that might take a while before things like ease up.
What is your favorite subject to paint recently? I know you've been doing digital, so you can talk about your digital painting.
Recently, I've been painting a lot of messy kitchens and interiors because I miss eating out. Getting takeout is like not the same. I like sitting in the restaurant, taking my time and like just looking around. Yeah, I usually keep a small sketchbook like the size of my hand, pretty much in my pocket, and I can pull that out anytime and I would sketch with brush pen.
That's awesome. I can totally see you fill up your book of your favorite restaurants in Toronto.
Yeah.
If we're talking about traditional painting, what's your favorite medium to use?
It's my ambition to get really good at watercolor because when I watch like a master watercolorist at work, like they're like 90 steps ahead, like in a chess game. And what they would do in the beginning would not make any sense to me, but at the end they would have a beautiful painting. But watercolor is hard. I'm still working on it.
Or what is the medium that you're most used to?
Probably gouache. I think I like to start a painting with watercolor. Then when it starts going bad, I'll just pull out the gouache and paint over it.
That's a good solution too.
Yeah.
What about acrylics or oils?
Acrylics, I don't like the plasticky shine that develops over my painting when it's done. And oils look really cool. I want to try some oils.
What are some of the artists you look up to if we're talking about plein-air artists?
There's my hero. You might have heard of her, Angela Sung. I have her book on my table. Whenever I'm stuck on a painting, I'll pull it out and see what would Angela do in this situation. Yeah, her colors are so great. And yeah, there's a lot to learn from her. Of course, James Gurney, his attitude toward life and just the role of art in his life. Like anything can be interesting if you take time to study it. Like his videos always start with something like, "Oh, my wife is at the supermarket. I have this sweet view of the parking lot right here. I'm gonna do a painting of it." And that type of attitude is just so great. Like his life is never boring because he finds everything interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would really enjoy, right? Like you can just go out to live your life, but like you kind of like journal your day by painting it. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's pretty awesome. Are there any other artists, like concept art, digital artists you admire?
I really enjoy artists who they're really good at conveying mood. Like, is the scene like scary? Is it happy? Is it sad? Like people who master all those things like and can pull it out at will. I really respect. So people like Zach Retz, Lip Carmarella, uh, Peter Chan. Yeah, those are probably like my top artists to look at.
Have you taken any classes with all these people you admire? You can actually talk to them face to face to learn.
Yeah, uh, I'm taking a class right now with Angela, the background design class. I'm learning so much. It's great.
I don't want to make this sound like a commercial.
I'm just chilling.
What about James Gurney? Does he offer any mentorship?
I think he does workshops like in the cities he travels to, but just watching his videos, I can learn so much. And I have his color and light book.
So it seems like you've been like taking classes or going to different short-term schools for a while, right? When did you graduate?
Yeah, I graduated 2017, and I've just been going around like taking workshops. Yeah, I want to keep learning, but I've been looking for work too.
Okay. And you've been focusing on plein air painting since kind of you graduated too, right?
Yeah, I filled up one sketchbook immediately after I graduated, like in that summer. It's really bad, but I learned a lot.
When you look at your old sketchbooks and your current work, what kind of differences do you see?
It's just like a gradual improvement, I guess. I've always like loved color. I can see that like my colors. I started off like with really toxic palettes, just saturation everywhere, and I think I see that I'm learning to control the harmonies and like learning to use limited palettes. Yeah, and I think my values have been getting stronger as well.
You haven't taken any like plein air workshops or classes in the past 3 years, right? Now, how did you improve your plein air painting?
I think plein air painting, you just learn by doing it and experiencing the world. I think there's enough material online, like YouTube, Gumroads, like that I can like learn something, then just take months to like master it. Yeah, all the classes I've been taking are more geared towards like concept art and entertainment.
How do you think those process videos help you though?
When I was in China, and I'm trying to fill up my sketchbook, I would watch a James Gurney video in the morning, kind of find one thing that I want to work on, like what palette is he working with? What's this? I like to call it like stacking order because watercolor, the order you put down the pigments, like the layers is like really important. How is he like structuring the layers? And what tools is he using is I think is important too.
So you basically, before you go out, you kind of have like a idea what you are going to paint or what kind of skills you're going to use in today's painting.
Yeah, exactly. Before I left LA, I was experimenting a lot with limited palettes, and I would open up the James Gurney color and light book. I would look for a limited palette, and I would only bring like just like 4 tubes of paint. I would just only use those to paint all my scenes.
What keeps you motivated to paint every day?
I don't believe in motivation. I actually think discipline is like much more important. I spent most of my adolescence in a kung fu school, and the teacher, one thing he would always say is, I'll say it in Chinese first, 想练就练，不想练都得练. So what that means is, you want to practice, practice. You don't want to practice, practice. If you're only practicing when you feel good, like I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere. Sometimes I see people, they're really talented, and I'm like, wow, this person has so much potential. But then they tell me they'll practice like only when they feel good. Like all those hours, like when you're not feeling good, honestly, like life happens. Like there's gonna be a lot of times like you don't feel motivated, you don't feel good. Like you're losing out on all those like hours of practice. So if I'm feeling good, yeah, I'm gonna do well. I'm gonna perform at my skill ceiling. But what I really want to work on is get my skill floor higher. So even when I'm feeling bad, I don't feel like painting, I can still produce good work. And yeah, that's the way to go, I think.
What's your daily schedule?
During the lockdown, like my schedule is pretty messed up. I'm back in Toronto, but I'm still like LA time. I will wake up like at noon, sleep at like 4 o'clock. My schedule is I wake up, I watch tutorials, I would do a painting, do homework. Then in the night, I try to crank out another painting, at least one painting a day.
Do you post one painting a day on Instagram as well?
Right now, I'm posting one a day because it's the May Sketch a Day challenge. Honestly, like social media doesn't matter that much to me. Like I don't even use like all the hashtags and stuff. I think followers is just like, it's a byproduct of you getting good. And I think it's really unhealthy to let like social media like define your like motivation and like is the reason like why you do stuff. Yeah, I just paint for myself.
That's because you're very disciplined. I think the Kung Fu school taught you really well.
Yeah, I try.
How did you train yourself to have this habit to paint every day?
I think I started this habit like after the lockdown. I've actually been more productive since the lockdown than like any other time in my life. It's because like I'm on the Warrior Painter Discord like every day. I think like energy and like passion is like transferable. I see everybody else working hard and I try to take some of that in for myself as well.
Let's talk about that. How did you join the Discord group? And like, bam, before I knew it, you started to be in charge of all the channels already.
I mean, when I was still in LA, I had a still life club that would happen every Tuesday. And after like social distancing started, that wasn't really possible anymore. But we were also doing like an online course at that time, and we were pretty much 2 weeks away from done. Went on the Discord to continue our lesson. I didn't expect anyone to show up, but I also shouted out in the Warrior Painters Facebook group. A lot more people showed up than I expected. Like I think Angela shouted out the event on her Instagram, and like after that, like hundreds of people showed up on the Discord. Yeah, and I mean, you guys gave me admin on the Discord, so I just like started adding categories and sections. Like it's just like how I like to organize things.
Yeah, I can see that you are very organized. It's very rare.
Yeah, so in my still life club, I'm kind of the tiger mom. I won't let anyone like miss a session, so I would spam them in chat to get them to come on to paint. And I guess like I probably do that with other people too, so that might be why.
Wow, you sound like Angela. That's what other people would describe Angela. Yeah, I think this Discord group really brought a lot of people together. I want to hear about what you think. Like it's been more than 2 months for the Discord group since you joined in the very beginning, and you've been taking like a manager role for this server. How do you think about it? Like how do you think what we have achieved, and both for you personally and for this group?
I think it's amazing. Like every day in the chat, we have people from Italy, from France, pretty much all over the world, South Korea, India. It's crazy, and like we're all doing like the same things. We all like the same things. Like it's so easy to talk to everyone, and this is the reason why I went to LA. Actually, I wanted to find like people who share the same passion for painting and like landscapes, color, light. Yeah, and I think I found it here on the Discord.
Did you find it in LA when you were here physically?
Yeah. Like going to the live sessions every weekend. Like that's like the highlight of the week. I was like such a bad student. I would go to the sessions before I finish all my homework, and I would like rush it afterwards when I get home.
How do you think this community helped you?
I think my communication skills definitely got a lot better because when new members join, like as like a mod on the server, I feel like responsible. I need to like kind of integrate them into the community. So I try a lot harder to talk to them, to like make small talk, find out about them and like their hobbies and stuff. And yeah, that definitely helped me a lot. I'm a shy guy, and I think I learned to talk to people after joining the Discord.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would say you're shy if they have chatted with you on Discord.
Oh yeah, that's something I gained like after the Discord started.
What else did you get? Did you make really good friends?
Yeah, definitely. we've been playing Jackbox games on Discord, and also we sing karaoke pretty much every night. Yeah, it's so great. Discord was actually, I think it was built for gaming communities, and except like on the Warrior Painter Discord, I think like painting is our video game. And yeah.
I know. I don't know if there's another group on Discord like this. People just come here to paint together.
Oh, yeah. I really don't think so. I think what we have here on the Warrior Painter Discord is like definitely really special, and I hope it keeps going after the quarantine is lifted.
I think it will. I mean, it's a way for all of us to have a very like instant way to communicate. Instead of like Facebook, you post and you wait for people to comment, and you kind of lose that need to share after a bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. And the cool thing about Discord is most of us, when we're in the chat room, we're streaming our digital painting, so we can see the painting as it's being developed. And afterwards, when we see on Instagram, it's like so much more special because you know like the artist's struggle getting their painting to that point.
Yeah, we just need to get more people to set up to stream traditional painting. This way, I think it'll be more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Because right now, I mean, digital painting is fun too, but like when you paint traditional, like when you see the brush strokes live, I think I like that more.
Okay. All right. Next week, I'll start streaming some traditional painting.
Yeah, you should. What do you like the most about the Warrior Painter group?
Everyone's like so friendly. They're so easy to talk to. There isn't like that barrier of like, how do I make small talk? Like everyone's like super passionate about art. You can always like bring up the things you like, and they'll like enjoy talking to you too. I think that's how I see it.
I have the last question here. What are some tips you could offer to people who want to just get into plein air painting?
Definitely try out limited palettes. Maybe even palettes that's missing one of the primary colors. For example, I was painting with a palette consisted of brilliant purple, yellow ochre, white, and raw sienna. So 4 tubes of paint. And I was trying to paint a red house. That really made me think about color relationships and color temperatures. And I learned so much from that. Like when I first started, I painted with a full palette. All my paintings, like they look like rainbow barf. If you don't want to use like the super limited palettes, try like a double primary palette. So a cool red, a warm red, a cool yellow, a warm yellow, a cool blue, a warm blue, and white. And I think that's like a big range. You can, yeah.
And what if they get discouraged from an ugly painting?
Oh, I've been there. I've done paintings that are so bad I stopped painting for like 2 months afterwards. That definitely happens, but I think just keep looking at art that you like, and if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to make it happen.
I think practicing Kung Fu or whatever, I don't know what you do, but like you have this very positive view of life. That's something it's hard to teach people.
Because in Chinese, the word Kung Fu, I think it translates to like the accumulated effort over time. So you can be a Kung Fu at like cooking. You can be a Kung Fu master at cooking. You can be a Kung Fu master at like pretty much anything, as long as like you do it consistently and you build up that experience like over years and years and years. So right now I'm working on being like a Kung Fu master for painting.
That's a good way to summarize it. I like that. All right. That's it. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Later.
Hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you have any suggestions, please leave your comments on whichever platform you're listening with. And if you like this podcast and other events we organize, please consider donating to us on Gumroad. You'll find a link in the description. Thank you and hope to see you again soon.